Today we are going to delve into a fascinating and mystical topic: three biblical figures who defied death. Who are they, and what message do their stories convey to us? Buckle up, because this journey through the scriptures is as inspiring as it is unexpected. First, let's talk about Elijah. In a troubled time in Israel, God called a bold prophet, Elijah the Tishbite from Gilead. Imagine the scene: a land under the grip of a wicked king, Ahab, and a populace wandering into idolatry. Elijah, one of Israel's greatest prophets, was not there to play political games. He was the embodiment of truth, a defender of faith in a world in decline. His famous confrontation with the prophets of Baal on Mount Carmel propelled him to the status of a national hero. Indeed, the way he challenged the false prophets while remaining steadfast against the powers of the day is a timeless lesson on courage and spiritual commitment. Elijah never allowed himself to be corrupted by political games. His heart was humble, but his spirit was indomitable. And then comes the incredible moment of his departure. In 2 Kings 2:1-12, we read how Elijah was taken up to heaven in a whirlwind. The passage begins with Elijah and Elisha, his faithful companion, walking together. Imagine the suspense. Elijah knows his time is drawing near, but he does not hesitate to test Elisha's commitment. "Stay here," he tells him repeatedly. But Elisha, determined, refuses to leave him. Their exchanges reflect a deep friendship, a mentorship that goes far beyond a simple teacher-student relationship. The scene then shifts to the Jordan River, a symbol of death and rebirth. Elijah, with his cloak, strikes the waters, and they part. Together they cross on dry ground, and before departing, Elijah asks Elisha a crucial question: "What do you want me to do for you?" Elisha responds with a bold request: "A double portion of your spirit." Elijah tells him this is a difficult request, but he will receive this blessing if he sees him taken up. Then, in a burst of light and power, a chariot of fire appears, separating the two men. Elijah is taken up to heaven in a whirlwind, a moment that is both tragic and glorious. Elisha, with a heavy heart, tears his clothes in mourning. But the transition is immediate. He picks up Elijah's cloak and, with newfound authority, strikes the waters of the Jordan in turn. This passage is emblematic. It is not merely about one man's legacy, but the continuation of a divine mission. Secondly, let's examine Enoch. Enoch is a fascinating and often overlooked figure. In Genesis 5:21-24, we learn that at the age of 65, he fathered Methuselah, the oldest person in the Bible. But what makes Enoch so remarkable is his reputation. Enoch walked with God. In a time of moral depravity, he stood firm in his faith, proclaiming the coming divine judgment, as Jude mentions in Jude 14. Enoch is a breath of fresh air amid the monotony of genealogies. His life was not just a list of births and deaths. He teaches us that walking with God means living in intimate communion with Him, even amidst the storms of life. His departure is as mysterious as it is inspiring, and he was not, for God took him. This invites reflection. What does it truly mean to walk with God? What kind of relationship must we develop to experience such spiritual intimacy? Finally, we have the third figure, Jesus. Jesus is far more than a man who defied death. He is the resurrection and the life. His death on the cross and his triumphant resurrection are the proof. In John 11:25, he declares, "I am the resurrection and the life." Through his victory over death, he offers us the promise of eternal life. The stories of Elijah and Enoch remind us that death is not the end. They encourage us to live fully, to seek the depth of our relationship with God, and to prepare for the eternal life that Christ promises us. These narratives compel us to reflect on how we live our lives today. Are we ready to follow their example of faith and courage? In conclusion, these three figures show us that even in the face of adversity, it is possible to live a life of significance and impact. Whether you are inspired by Elijah's courage, Enoch's faith, or Jesus' promise, let these stories guide you toward a life filled with meaning and hope. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the extraordinary stories of Elijah, Enoch, and Jesus. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring content. See you soon.